I'm gonna throw you a bone here, Mr.
Thank
Naruto
you,
fan.
dude.
So
Again, guys, I don't watch One Piece.
As I was thinking about this topic and I was contemplating different animes, one of the things that you always see in animes is that the hero at a point goes off somewhere and he trains with the master. And a lot of the times that is like the biggest difference in growth that you're gonna see from that individual. Absolutely. You know, you have it with Jiraiya and Naruto, and I'm sure you can talk a little bit about that. Yeah. But you see it with Yusuke and his master. What's her name? I always forget her name. Genkai.
Bro, come on.
You see it with Goku and
well, it depends.
What's the fat guy? In Dragon Ball Z, blue guy, King Kai.
Yes, King
Kai. You see it with all of these where they come back and it's like a completely different character than what we saw before.
I mean, well, what is it that we're really looking at? We're just looking at life experience and a lot of things that they were able to do. Like with Naruto and Jiraiya, right? It just so happens that Naruto's mentor happened to be his dad's mentor as well. So like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I mean, we can get into that another time. But yeah,
stop getting all
the fourth
Naruto
Hokage,
fan,
dude. The fourth Hokage did work with Jiraiya a lot. So Jiraiya was able to take a lot of just the life experiences from battles and stuff like that he had, and was able to then teach it into Naruto. Like he knew how to control, the fox and all these different things. And it was just the fact that Naruto recognized and understood, hey, this guy knows a lot and I can learn from him. And Jiraiya saw that it was worth spending the time with him, and he wanted to train and develop him up to be, this amazing ninja that Naruto was.
And I will say that in anime, in the context of anime, it's often the hero or the student that's seeking for that master, right? Looking to get stronger, looking to, gain whatever knowledge it would be. What am I thinking of the saying wrong? It's not until the student is ready that the master shows up. Is that a thing? Can you guys check on that, chat? It's like it's not until the student is ready that the master shows. Something like that.
That also makes sense. But, I mean, like it's the same thing in My Hero Academia when like Deku meets All Might. Same thing. Like Deku was just getting ready, and then he proved to him that he was ready for it. Yeah, I'm a big My Hero fan.
Nah,
too.
My Hero's whack, bro.
Dude,
my Hero was good at the beginning, and then it just
amazing. Nah, man.
It's almost about to.
Nah, man. My Hero
still waiting
is amazing.
For that. Anyway, so let's get into another example in the Bible here. What are you pointing at?
The transition.
Oh, I mean, I purposely left it there for a little bit, but
okay.
I appreciate you. So one of the a good mentor-mentee clear example that we see in the Bible is Timothy and Paul, right? I think that they had such a close relationship that Paul refers to Timothy as son, right? He's almost considered like an adoptive son.
It's not the way how
Paul.
we use son right now. It's like legitimate, like he's my son. Like no, Timothy like lived with Paul. Like Paul was pretty much like a stepdad and a spiritual father to him.
So let's read you guys one quick verse, so we can look at this real quick. So it says here. Let me see if I can zoom it.
2 Timothy.
Yeah, Timothy.
2.
You want to read it?
I'll read it. All right. So it says, "You then, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Christ Jesus. And the things you have heard me say in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others."
So if you notice that the first thing that we see is that Paul is calling Timothy son, right? So it's showing this closeness of a relationship that they both had. Not only that, so when Paul is writing this is actually, I think his second or third time in jail, and it appears that he's going to be executing. So he's going to be executed.
Paul
so this
is forever locked up, bro.
Yeah. So
worse
this
than
is
Akon.
Yeah. Wow.
Yo, those that are old enough to get it will get it.
Do you even Jesus, bro? Were you bringing that heathen stuff over here?
Those that are old enough to get it will get it.
All right, but you made me lose my train of thought. So yeah, Timothy.
Yep.
So Paul, when he writes 2 Timothy, it's believed that he was like near his execution. So he
Okay.
knew that he didn't have.
So he's probably already in Rome by this time, then.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So he knows that he doesn't have a lot of time left to live.
Yeah.
And he writes this final letter to Timothy, basically, hey, encouraging him to not forget the things that he taught him. He references the fact that he saw Paul in the way that he taught, in the way that he behaved, which implies that Timothy spent a good bit of time with Paul, watching and seeing his ministry.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like that's amazing just to think about it. It's like, hey, you've seen everything that I've done. You know, you like Paul really showed Timothy like this is the truth. Like he lived it out to him, and so just to kind of have that final like commandeering, like, and you know, and continue the good fight. Don't stop. Don't quit. Like push forward, and you know, don't let these words just die out.
Yeah,
it's a very similar way to kind of like how Jiraiya died out. To be honest, when I think about it.
Oh yeah, you wanna fanboy for a little bit?
Oh jeez. Well, think about it, right?
Briefly,
All right. So at the last point, Jiraiya pretty much ends. He ends his life essentially fighting pain.
well,
right?
he doesn't end his life. He gets.
I mean,
killed.
he knew he was gonna die. He knew he
Yeah.
was gonna die, right? But he went ahead to try and just get everything set up and prep for everyone else, and that just ended up being additional motivation for Naruto to go bonkers. But he knew he was going into it, and he gave Naruto just enough to be.
I
like,
do
"Hey,
remember this. It was
dude,
pretty.
this was intense.
Yeah, it was emotional.
I didn't cry,
for sure.
but I saw that. I was like, yo, that's rough.
When the little frog is like
Yeah,
last message, and he's like
yeah.
writing it on the back.
So think about that, right? Like to give out your last message, your last hope, and to put everything in there, and it's just a hope that you're gonna continue on. Like any mentor, at one point or another, like it doesn't have to be death, but when it goes into that point of like, hey, it's time for you to, flap your wings, get out of here, do your own thing. That's just the hope of every mentor to their mentee.
Well, that's almost part of it, right? Like leaving that legacy. And I think that for us as leaders, we gotta continue to ask ourselves, like, what is the legacy that we're seeing? What are the disciples that we're leaving behind that are gonna carry out the work that the work that we did, and continue, hopefully improve, get stronger, and be better. I mean, that's what Jesus did, right? He had the 12 disciples. Actually, we know about the 12, but there were more than 12 disciples,
there was
right?
thousands of disciples. man.
Thousands
Think
of
about it.
disciples that he had, that he instructed, and that he left his legacy with. And look at where it ended today.
Jesus is the perfect example of the only MLM that actually works. Right?
This guy.
He started at 1, then it goes down to 12, and then those 12 multiply, and then they keep on going.
So, are you saying that
No,
the
he's
gospel is
No.
a MLM? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying.
I'm pretty sure your pastor's here tonight.
I know, right? No, I'm just saying that.
Careful with the small group he's leading.
I know, right? I'm saying MLM stole that off of Jesus.
Yeah.
No, it's that idea of multiplication, but it is cool to see. Just here we are, what, through 2,000 years later, still seeing the work that Jesus did continue to move forward, continue to bring in disciples by the grace of God. He's still allowing us time before he comes back to win more souls and try and get back with him. It's amazing to think.